Hello and welcome to Lifetime on Court, the show where we break down your favorite made-for-TV movies one bottle at a time. I'm your host, Patrick Serrano, and today we are talking about The Stranger She Brought Home. The Stranger She Brought Home stars Lesa Wilson, Cameron Jebo, Sarah Torres, and Don Jeans. Now on the show, we either pour it up, which means yes, or put a cork in it, which means no, thank you. So what are we going to do to this movie? Put a cork in it. No, thank you. Now, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to avoid spoilers, you're going to want to go ahead and hit pause and come on back because I'm going to do a quick little recap starting now.
The movie begins at a 911 call center, which is new for Lifetime. Don't think we've been there since the 90s. Amelia is smooth under pressure, not only with handling callers, but also with dealing with her sexual predator boss, Trent. Amelia has a strange habit of following up with callers that she has helped by impersonating social services or the police to see them in the hospital. She then steals tokens from them and stores them in her closet. Amelia lives in her family's house, which is full of photos and memories of Amelia's dead family. She inherited the house and is alone with the exception of her red-headed roommate Stephanie, who has boundary issues and is dating the boss, Trent. Speaking of redheads, there is a serial killer in town who is targeting redheads and has been given the name Red-Headed Murderer. Back on the job, Amelia gets a call about a man who's been hit by a car. She helps them and then sneaks into the hospital the next day to get her token. Amelia is caught by a nurse and she goes all Sandra Bullock in While You Were Sleeping and says she's the man's fiance. She even makes up his name, Daniel Jones. The man wakes up from his coma and he is terrified. He has amnesia conveniently. He is also fine as hell. Amelia doubles down on her fiance story and kicks her roommate Stephanie out of the house to make room for her new man. When Daniel starts asking questions about his past, she tells him his whole family is dead and claims she can't reach out to his friends because his phone was destroyed in the accident. They move in together and have sex. Daniel asks her if she's hiding something and she tells him about Trent sexually harassing her. Trent crosses the line yet again, and Amelia decides to report the incident after being encouraged to do so by a coworker named Michael, who also asks her out on a date. Read the room, dude. Amelia is surprised to learn that Trent is filing an incident report against her and argues with Officer Kitchen. We couldn't think up a better name than Kitchen? Was Officer Living Room not available? What the hell? Trent assaults Amelia in the stairwell, and she knees him in the balls. Stephanie finds her boyfriend, and they devise a plan to make it look like Amelia beat the crap out of him. They use the evidence to file a restraining order, but not before things get oddly sexual. That restraining order doesn't work because Trent is murdered and then staged to look like a suicide. Amelia talks to Michael and he creeps her out. She is convinced he is the killer and tells Daniel that Michael is obsessed with her. Then she visits Stephanie and drinks wine while trying to convince her that she didn't kill Trent. The two women are attacked and knocked out. Amelia is tied up to a chair and horrified to see Stephanie has been murdered. Daniel is the killer and has had his memory the whole time. He tells Amelia that he is the red-headed killer, then kisses her passionately because he wants to team up since they are both twisted liars. Amelia agrees to go along with the plan but grabs a fire poker and runs out of the house, leaving a very confused mailman to find Stephanie's body. The movie should be over, but it keeps going. Amelia gets her goth friend to do some research and they learn Daniel's real name is Henry, and he witnessed his red-headed mother's murder. Henry/Daniel can't help himself and tries to kill Amelia's red-headed neighbor who witnessed the car crash. Then he comes after Amelia one last time. They have a blowout fight and both pass out from exhaustion. Amelia gasps to life and calls 911 for help. She wakes up in the hospital and Michael is by her side. They are a couple apparently. And that is The Stranger She Brought Home.
So, The Stranger She Brought Home had an interesting premise, a 911 operator, which we never see on Lifetime or ever think about anymore because you don't think about 911 operators like I thought it was a robot answering 911 these days. Amelia is our protagonist. She's helping people, but wait, she's also stalking them, impersonating government agents, and stealing from them and keeping things, little tokens, in a closet. Okay, that's weird. Then she gets into this whole, like, while you were sleeping vibe.
Oh, I was gonna marry him.
Who's she?
She's his fiance. No. Peter's engaged.
And, like, lies for Cameron Jebo, who is in a coma and was hit by a car, da. And of course, he's the bad guy. He's the serial killer that they're talking about throughout the whole movie. Like, serial killer alert, serial killer alert. Okay, obviously he's the serial killer. What didn't work for me here was that they're both bad, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm rooting for no one. They're both bad, whatever. Would have been awesome. Would have made this movie a poured up. And one of my commenters on Twitter said this. Actually, it might have been on my blog. If he had come to her at the end and was like, I love you, and I know about your token stealing, I think that's great, because he also trims the hair of his victims, and they teamed up at the end, that would have been something. That would have been like, oh, wow, okay, so this movie was saying that everyone was bad and kept them bad for a reason, This must have been like an edit from Lifetime or some producer that was like, I don't know, should we, like, make it happy at the end? Like, should we? The answer is no. A lot of little things like that in the movie that you're just, like, head scratching, like, what's going on? So, had to put a cork in it. Sorry to this movie, but it is what it is. Cameron Jebo with his shirt off. I mean, I was into that. And I'm into him usually, but not in this one. Couldn't save it. And now it's time for the Minority Report, the segment where we talk about representation in TV movies and why it matters. So we had good representation here. We had some 911 callers. Of course, Officer Kitchen, who was in a supervisor role. So we love that. And let me just go through my list. We have Angela Davis as Dr. Kitchen, Stephen James as a 911 operator, Melanie Kieran as a room nurse, Jennifer Patino as Detective Sanchez in the typical detective role, Vernica Rowe as Tabitha, and Seth Michaels as Zeke. And I think that wraps it up for today. If you want more Lifetime Uncorked, you can check out our website, lifetimeuncorked.com. You can follow me at Patrick Miguel or the show at Lifetime Uncorked. Don't forget to check out our podcast, also called Lifetime Uncorked, available wherever you get your podcasts. And leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to donate to our Ko-fi page, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye!